I'm gonna lock exposure and focus right there. All right. I have no idea if that's gonna work. I wasn't even filming. All right. I'm gonna be real with you guys for a sec. Instagram is confusing as shit to me right now. Just putting it out there. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post. Engagement is about as reliable as a bridge made out of toothpicks. Not to mention that it's basically just TikTok at this point. I think it's pretty safe to say that the platform as a whole is an entirely different animal than it was even a year ago. So back at the end of 2020, I challenged myself to create 7 days of Instagram content in 24 hours. I was surprised it was a concept that you guys really seem to love and take a lot from. So 2022, how about we try it again? There's no doubt about it. It's a different time for the platform as a whole. As content creators here on Instagram, I think if we're gonna take on this challenge again, we definitely need to re-strategize a bit. Reels are here to stay, whether we like it or not. It's clearly where the platform is headed. And I gotta be honest, I am brutally intimidated when it comes to short form vertical content. Like, not sure why, but I don't know. For some reason, the idea of taking this and turning it into this and for like only 15 seconds. All that aside, at this point, I think it's pretty clear that if you are a creator and you want to grow on this platform, you gotta make some Reels. What I will say is that what I think is really cool and really interesting about Reels is that there's a lot of amazing trends circulating around that give us plenty of opportunity to get some extra mileage out of old footage that we've shot and probably long forgotten about. One trend that I found that actually really seems to relate to myself in my work is this before and after color grading effect. You guys know I love color grading, so this is a perfect chance to showcase some old footage, drop some new color grades on it, and boom. Next thing I wanna do is create kind of like a relaxing day in the life vlog reel. Sort of just a combination of going through the daily motions, you know, sounds, textures, maybe it's wind in the trees, sitting down to get some work done. Just a cool little relatable piece that makes you inspired to go get some stuff done. Then finally, I figured why not repurpose some shots from my latest YouTube video, create a cool cut down of that with a cool sound. Now let's think over some strategy for some photos. It seems like over the last couple of years, I've really leaned heavily on the crutch of being like an influencer, I guess, and just photos of myself. But I really have been itching to get out and do some real photography again. So why not start out with a good old street photo? It's been quite a few years since I've ran around in the street, tried to craft a really cool frame with some interesting symmetry or some cool movement or emotion. Portrait photography is really fun. It's actually something I used to do for a couple of years freelance prior to doing cinematography and YouTube and stuff. And so maybe I'll snag my fiance for a couple of minutes. And then for good measure, just one photo of myself. We'll keep it interesting. We'll use a self timer and a tripod, maybe give you guys a little bit of tips if you're doing self-portraits. For our last piece of content, I'm gonna go ahead and do one of my favorite things to post, which is the cinematic color grading frames. It's the stack of 3 stills from video, and usually I show a couple of them or I'll show a before and after. You guys always seem to love those, and so I'll take you guys through that whole process. But enough talking, let's go shoot. So to create this lifestyle reel, I wanna keep things super simple and shoot everything on my phone. I think that's kind of the beauty of these little day in the life vlogs. I'm using this Polar Pro case that's pretty cool. It allows you to attach an ND filter and also this little grip that gives us a 1/4-20 thread, can mount it on a tripod. Perfect for getting shots like this. Okay, I've got an idea for this lifestyle reel that I'm doing here. I wanna try a cool match cut transition. I wanna walk into the office, throw the package onto the desk, and when it hits the desk, have everything just kind of like pop out onto the desk. The problem with this type of an effect is that if you don't do it really well and have it be nice and seamless, it kind of just looks like shit. So let's see how we can do. Okay, so I think I've just about got the frame figured out. It's It's not great. The mixed lighting is a little eh. I think in a way, that's kind of what makes these reels different and relatable, is the fact that you can make the content more raw. It doesn't have to be like overly perfected or creative, like perfect frames. It can just kind of be these cool little real candid moments. And I gotta throw it. When I throw it, I need to throw it from the same position. No idea if that's gonna work. I wasn't even filming. Round two. So, ow. What the? Right, so for these stills, the setup we're gonna be using today is of course the Sony a7 IV. I'm sure you guys know all about this camera at this point. This thing is pretty incredible. The lens we have on it is something kind of interesting. This is the Rokinon 35mm f1.8. This is a really affordable prime lens, and honestly, I gotta say, after shooting with this for a little bit, the results are pretty damn impressive. Kind of like the idea of shooting something somewhere kind of in this area. We've shot right over there before, so I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a cop-out, but this building is really cool. It's got a lot of cool lines, and plus the blue and the white, kind of some of this wood down here. All right, so I was planning on shooting this on the Rokinon 35mm, like I showed you guys here on the a7 IV, but this shot is really interesting, and I think it would be really cool to shoot it wide. So we're gonna actually use the Tamron 17-28 2.8. We're gonna do this as a self-portrait, and normally what I would do is I would use a wireless app to connect to the phone, kind of use that as a monitor, but honestly, not everyone's camera has that Wi-Fi capability, so let's do it with the good old self-timer. A tip for shooting these self-timer tripod photos is instead of just setting up the camera, turning on the timer, and jumping in, hoping everything looks nicely composed, what you should do is set up the camera and dial in the composition, take a few frames prior, and envision where you might place yourself in the frame. That way, then when you actually go to do the self-timer, you know exactly where to stand, and your composition should look good to start with. Then at that point, it really should only be a matter of dialing in your movement, posing when you're in the frame. It's kind of hard not knowing what you're doing when you can't see from behind the camera. Then it should really only take a few minutes to get a good looking shot.
There's definitely people just across the street watching me be a complete idiot.
Here in the office, got ourselves a little more coffee. This time around with this challenge, obviously, we're doing some reels. There's a lot of trends and there's a lot of opportunities that we can actually really get some extra use out of our old footage. So it's time to pull up some archive stuff. This is my drive from most of 2020. Right off the bat, for this before and after color grading trend, it really seems like drone footage is kind of the go-to. It seems like every single time I'm out on location shooting, if I send up a drone, more often than not, when that project itself is done, I only ended up using like 2 or 3 shots from that drone footage. Back in 2020, there was a really cool project that I shot with Tyler Babin and our friend Connor. There was a lot of drone footage that we captured then, but man, the light was insane. Some of it was really, really pretty. Didn't really get a lot of screen time, and so maybe we should try and use some of this stuff. I think I'm officially wiped, but we still have one more piece of content to create, these cinematic frames. It's a stack of 3 screenshots from videos or projects that I've worked on in the past, whether it's personal work, YouTube, clients, just a way to show off some color grading as well as cinematography work. For something like this, I think a lot of people would immediately think to jump over to Photoshop. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think a lot of us instinctively, being perfectionists and artists, love to overcomplicate the process. One tool that I've been using over the last year or so to make this process easier is the sponsor of today's video, Canva. What I've done here inside of Canva is I've gone ahead and created a template design for these cinematic frames. All I need to do is go in, make a copy of it to start a new project, go into that one, and I have 3 spaces here ready to go that all I need to do is simply tap, hit replace, and then I can scroll through my camera roll and select the frames I want to use. I'm gonna be posting a project I got to DP for Nike featuring Bo Jackson, a really, really amazing project. I hope to talk about it more here soon in the future, but all we have to do is select and replace each frame that we want to use, something like that. Looks pretty good to me. I use Canva for a bunch of things, but it's an all-in-one design application that allows you to create pretty much anything for your brand, whether you need banners, whether you need presentations, pitch decks, you can do logos, even edit videos, like create YouTube intros or outros. It doesn't take any experience. They have thousands of professionally designed templates, a massive stock assets library, but it really gets cool with Canva Pro, which allows you to work seamlessly with up to 5 team members and have access to a ton of their amazing tools. My favorite is the magic background remover, allowing you to completely remove a subject from a background in literally just one click. Amazing for, again, things like YouTube thumbnails. If any of this seems interesting to you guys and you want to try it out, you can get a free 45-day trial to Canva Pro if you click the link down in the description. Thank you, Canva, for supporting and sponsoring these videos. I think that just about wraps us for 7 days of content in 24 hours. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the way this whole project turned out. It was a lot different than last year. Reels, as weirdly intimidated as I've been with them, I had a lot of fun creating them. Getting to dive through old hard drives and pull some new footage, bring it back to life, getting to create a super raw and unpolished little vlog, even just getting back out on the street and shooting photos pretty aimlessly was really, really relaxing and almost therapeutic. Be sure to head over to my Instagram, link down below, to actually see all of this content get posted. Of course, I didn't show you guys everything, and so over the next week or so, I'm gonna be dropping each one of these posts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you in the next video.